Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is The Inspiration Show. Now today on the show I have a very special guest with me. She's the author of several books and we're going to be talking about meditation. Now I know that there are several different methods out there and I got to meet my guest actually in Munich earlier in the year. And she had an incredible short story to share, which I want her to share with you on the show. So please welcome my special guest, Dr. Michelle Nielsen. How are you, Michelle?
Hi, fantastic, and nice to see you, Natalie. And I will have to say from this end, good evening, because I'm in Barcelona, Spain.
I know, Barcelona. That's so
Yeah,
awesome.
that's very exciting.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Now, I want to start initially with your story. You know, your story and your background and how you got into doing what it is that you do.
Well, I do have a background in wellness, so I've been helping people in the wellness field for over 23 fields as a practicing doctor, and particularly interested in the body-mind connection. And what I found, Natalie, after many, many years, is that most people, underlying whatever physical condition was going on, was some type of emotional block or block in their subconscious, and that if we didn't clear that out, that they were not going to progress. So I became very fascinated after helping people heal their physical bodies in looking at their emotional and spiritual health. And at the time, I was suffering from quite a lot of insomnia myself. So, and I'm just not a napper. So I started to get interested in meditation, and I found it was the one way that I could sort of recharge my batteries during the day. And then I started to notice amazing shifts in my life. And the main thing that I achieved through meditation was I used it a lot as a guided visualization. So visualizing exactly what I wanted, getting into the deeper alpha and theta states, feeling the emotion, getting really connected with that reality, making it so real in my mind that I would be able to feel it as if it was real. And things started to show up in my life. So I started to get a bit of a reputation as a manifester, like, wow, you manifest things so easily. And I used to use it for things like business goals and, finding a great partner and incorporating into my business work and whatnot and financial goals. But then when it really had a life-changing experience, and that was when my first child was born 3 months premature due to a very grave illness that I was suffering through the pregnancy. And to my shock and horror, the natural childbirth I was planning on having with this healthy baby ended up being an emergency C-section to save my life. And I was told that this fetus probably wouldn't survive. So this little creature that looked like an alien came to the world at 29 weeks, and he weighed 800 grams.
Wow.
If you're American or Canadian, that would be about 1.5 pounds. So, a little bit bigger than a side of butter. And this poor little guy, I mean, he looked like a little alien, and he had to live in an incubator for 3 months, and it was questionable whether he would survive. When we left the hospital, I was told that our little Matisse would basically be a special needs child, that there was some mild brain damage. He would probably have a slight form of cerebral palsy, that he would most likely could possibly be blind or deaf or mute. So the first 5 years with Matisse were pretty much, living heck, if I can say it politely, and not at all what I had imagined. Most of my time was spent between specialists and doctors and exams. And before school started with Matisse, he wasn't talking before his school age, and we were sent to a state health center to get him evaluated, at which time he was given the label of a special needs child. So at that point, I was devastated because I just was really in this denial that this is not what I signed up for, and I just, even though with all the challenges and everything, I was just somehow convinced that that it just wasn't happening. So when I came home from that visit, I just remember sitting on the back porch, and I just had a big, 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 big cry, and then I decided to do a meditation. And at the end of my meditation, this thought came to me, and it said, you know what, Michelle, you've used this visualization and this manifesting technique and all this stuff for so many things in your life. Why don't you use it in this situation? And I think I just had this black cloud in my head, and it hadn't occurred to me. So I got started right away. I applied the 10 steps to this process, and every day for 90 days, I would do a very simple meditation in which I would envision a completely different reality for our family unit and for my little boy. And in this situation, he was talking normally. People were commenting how smart he was. He was getting good grades at school. He was eating properly. His health problems were going away, etc., etc. So during this period of this 3 months, things actually started to shift. So Matisse went from being 5 years old, had the worst study you could imagine, was only speaking about 3 or 4 words. The teacher at the special school told us that he was, initially he wasn't progressing, that he was sitting in a corner by himself, basically looking very autistic and staring at the wall. So about 3 months passed by, and we started to notice little changes with Matisse. In the meantime, I got clarity. I did a vision board. I would have done a mind movie if I'd known about you back then, Natalie. And I wrote out every day very clearly what our goal was. But the most important thing is I stayed very, very, very connected to this vision, and I experienced it, and I lived it every single day in my mind. So it became as real as any reality or any messages I was hearing from the outside. And I would do little things like I would go inside in these visualizations, these meditation sessions. I would go inside Matisse's little brain and start to reconnect the neurons and give them energy. And because I'm a doctor and understand anatomy, I would fire up the language centers. After 9 to 12 months went by, Matisse's change was absolutely dramatic. It was just everybody was commenting what a change in this boy. I was then suggested by the teacher, the special ed teacher, to get him reassessed. So we went back for 3 days of testing to this state medical center, and he was put through a battery of tests for a full week with a child psychologist, linguists, pediatricians, and at the end of this, they said, wow, we don't understand what happened with your son, but we think he's a very intelligent young boy. He's completely fluent in 3 languages, Spanish, Catalan, and English, and we're going to remove the special needs label. So now, Matisse is in a public school, normal school, no special education, no special needs, and he's a fully functioning, healthy, happy, interesting, creative boy that just started junior high. So some people might say this was a coincidence, but for those of us that were very close to the situation and lived the first 5 years with Matisse as an extremely behind and neurologically challenged and behaviorally challenged and autistic, to see this dramatic change in him, we believe that we created some type of miracle through our manifestation process, and particularly by using that other 90% of our brain, these deeper meditation states, connecting up with the quantum field and just creating and shifting a different reality for our little boy and for our family.
Yeah, so I mean, there is so many things about that story that that I want to highlight. First of all, when it comes to healing and meditating and visualizing and so forth, I've always thought that if you have the knowledge of how the body works, or how the brain works, or what that connection is, it's easier for you to be able to visualize the health and the result that you want, because you can see the brain firing, you can see the spine healing, you can see the knee healing, and that really really helps to that process to go along. But the other thing was really interesting because I know that I do this myself, and others may too. Like, we know how to visualize and manifest and so forth, but then sometimes there's one area of our life that we forget about. And then you go, wait, why am I'm not applying it to this as well? How crazy. So that was a really interesting part of your story too. So when you're talking about these meditations or visualizations that you do, like, are you doing this every day? Like, how often are you doing this, and what's the process that you use?
Well, personally, I'm one of those people, when I get into something and it works, I'm like,
yeah, all in.
Yeah. So I do it every day, just because I find it to be such an amazing investment of my time. Most people, oh, I haven't got time to meditate, it's too complicated. I don't think you need to do it every day. I think 3 times a week is perfectly fine. Personally, just because I find when I start my day with a meditation, and I tend to be a big fan of, and that's why I create guided meditations, because the other thing that most people say they find overwhelming about meditation is like, oh, I can never sit still, my mind wanders, da, da, da. And so with a guided meditation, it's like you just have to put on some headphones, listen to a voice, and and just go on this mental journey being guided by somebody else. So I think 3 times a week, you can notice a phenomenal change in your life, in your health, in your energy, and especially if you have a specific goal, such as finding your perfect life partner, or your business goal, or whatever. It just changes my whole day from that feeling of forcing things to happen and stress and struggle, and it just completely transforms it into sort of flow and ease, where things just kind of fall into place, and the day just sort of has a natural flow to it, rather than this, this isn't happening, and it's like, it just guides me through the day, because it just, and it's like a mental shower, most people, that horrible feeling. I know sometimes I have to rush the kids to school because I'm late, and I haven't had time to shower, and I don't want any of the other moms or dads to see me. They don't really know I haven't had a shower. But I do, and I have that icky feeling, and I just find that, that's how my brain feels if I don't meditate every day. It's kind of like icky, sticky, dirty, I don't know, and it's like, oof, meditation is just like, a mental shower. Yeah. Then every day is a fresh start, and full of infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
And then
the more often you can see that picture in your mind, our friend Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about remembering the future.
Yeah.
Because we've played that picture so many times in our mind that our subconscious mind believes that this is our reality. We create these new neural pathways, and then we start to believe that it's our reality as well, and then we start to act accordingly.
Like you said, the subconscious.
Yeah.
Because that's 90%, and it's hidden, subconscious. So if you get it locked in to your subconscious, especially when you're meditating, you're in the alpha and theta states, then that's when you really start to believe it. So then your behaviors change, your what you attract changes, and that's also what I love about mind movies as well, because you sort of get taken away on this journey, and you hear the music and you feel the emotion, and we are visual beings, so that also goes into your subconscious as well. And absolutely. That's where the incredible power is, that old saying that we only use 10% of our brain, and how powerful it is when we can really learn these techniques to tap into that other 90%.
Absolutely. And the most mind-blowing part of the whole story is that you were able to do this for your son.
Yes, a lot of people ask me that. I think because he was on board. He was young, 5 or 6. First of all, children are naturally in that powerful alpha state.
Absolutely.
13. I think he was on board. I shared with him the vision board, and he created it with me, and we created recordings, subliminal recordings with affirmations that we would play at night. So he was also involved in the process. But I think the most important thing is, because the most common, and this is a little off topic, but I have to say, of the hundreds of emails and questions that I get after reading the book, Manifesting the Teas, and people reading about this manifestation process, the most common question I get is, how can I get my ex-boyfriend back?
Oh,
So,
I get that a lot too.
of all the possibilities in the world.
I know, exactly. Please be grateful you're not with him anymore.
But the point with that is, Natalie, is that, and what I say to people, and this relates to your question, is that, well, the important thing is, yes, I created a reality for somebody else, but the thing is, that was what he wanted and what his intention was.
Exactly, that's the key.
If
He was what he wanted it to. Yeah.
Me back, I'm sorry, baby. Let it go. There's somebody else out there that's even more perfect for you.
Exactly.
So yeah, so that you can joint manifest, but obviously not obvious. It's not obvious. Otherwise, people wouldn't ask you that question. The other people has to be involved, which is why I believe too, because sometimes people think, well, isn't it like voodoo? Couldn't you do something bad to somebody? And it's like, well, no, the person has to be completely energetically and emotionally aligned with the same goal as well.
So let me rephrase what I just said before. So you didn't do it for him, you did it with him.
Exactly. We were a team. I'm a manifesting team.
Yeah. Awesome. Michelle, thank you so much for being with me today. We've completely run out of time, and I knew this show was going to go really quickly.
Yes.
But if people want to connect with you, where can we send them to do that?
Well, they can either visit my website, which is mastermanifestors.com, and there is a link on the banner, or if you see the banner below, there is a website there where I would love to offer people my free mini manifesting and meditation kit, and they can see it includes some free meditations, guided meditations, and they can really see just how easy it is and how time efficient it is if you use guided meditation. Yeah. So it doesn't cost a thing. It'll basically link them through to my meditation spa app, or the easiest thing is to just follow the link on the bottom of the banner here, and they can try it out for themselves.
Great. And thanks, Michelle. Thanks again. Now, guys, if you click on the banner either to the side or underneath this video, it'll take you straight through to that page as well. Now, don't forget to share this video, and you can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page, and leave your email if you haven't done so already, so I can send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course. It's actually valued at $87, and I'd love to send it to you for free. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.
Okay.